Kawasaki Z900, Kawasaki Z900RS. Which one's better? Find out.
This is the hour, the darkest place. Dante's Inferno, the devil's maze. It's a good world, good world going bad.
It's been a while since I've had that power. It's been a while and I miss it, I really do. Oh man, alive! I reckon I'm at 40 by the end of that half mark. Hey, I am! Look at me, I'm hiding, I'm camouflaged, it's green.
Is a digital display, not colour. Then you get your rev range up here. This is where it gets fun.
Half the people die while the rest of us are splitting hairs. It's a good world, good world gone bad.
Now, as you may have known, if you've seen the previous video, if you haven't, feel free to check it out, it'll be in the description. I've tested the Z900RS recently. Now the Kawasaki Z900, the original, I did last year and liked that bike an awful lot. So I had high expectations for the Z900RS version. So let's play a little stats and figures game and compare the two of them purely on their statistical merits. Now what's the same about these bikes? Of course they have the same capacity in the engine, 948 cc's. They actually have the same fuel capacity, 17 litres, although of course it is a different shell. Torque. Bit of a contentious one, there is a difference between the two bikes, but they both have roughly the same amount of torque, that's 73 foot-pounds. It's slightly under, just by a hair, on the original Z900, but it's practically the same. It's just found at different places in the revs. Of course, on the RS version, it's found lower down. Brakes. As far as the discs go, they are exactly the same. 300mm discs on the front, two of them, and 250mm on the rear. Speaking of the rear, that is pretty much the exact same brake caliper and brake disc. And of course they both have ABS. Now where does the original win over its retro-styled counterpart? Power. It's a big one, and it is very important, and it is noticeable. On the original, 123 brake horsepower. On the new one, 110. Of course, they're found in different places as well. Again, slightly lower down the rev range on the RS. Weight. The original is 5 kilograms lighter. Top speed, we're losing about 5 miles per hour on the RS version. Now, as for the RS, where does that win? What improvements have they made? First and foremost, it now has traction control. You won't notice it a huge amount, but of course it is there to save you just in case you lose traction on the rear. Having said that, it's worth noting that they are still both cabled throttle. No ride-by-wire on this puppy. Just an old school cable. Brakes, and I'm talking the front brake now. The calipers are improved. They are 4-piston still, but they are radial mounted and they are monoblock. So there's an awful lot of feel through the RS. Suspension on the front, it is now fully adjustable. On the original, it was for preload and rebound damping. The same is true on the rear. The rear is now improved as well, so that you get preload and rebound damping. And on the original Z900, you just got preload. They are both mounted the exact same way, which helps the balance and the weight nice and low. As I say, now we're not talking statistics, if we're talking tastes and slight differences between the two of them. Well, the RS is now slightly taller, it is slightly longer, I'm sure you're aware of that. The RS now also has a slightly modified frame, so that rear seat doesn't sit quite so proudly, and of course your seat is relaxed slightly as well. You are now perched on top though, rather than being sat in the bike, unless you get that lower seat. It's also more relaxed at the headstock, so the steering, you're slightly less over the steering, which means it is slightly less maneuverable. I'd say slightly less because it's still very maneuverable. It's just noticeable that it is slightly less snappable. You can't whip it around the corner.
So quick to drop in, so grippy.
Then we move on a little bit to aesthetics in as far as the clock goes. Now the new clocks on the RS are a step above. Genuinely, I don't think I've ridden a bike recently that I like the clocks on more. And I know that's a really kind of a boring point to a lot of people, but it's an important aesthetic. First and foremost, you don't see a lot of it because of your riding position, you look straight out, so you don't actually look at the clocks all that much. But I do love having analog needles going up on the revs and the speed. And I do also like the fact that you get the functionality and the information from a digital display. So you get your gear indicator, you get all your hazards and your warning lights and all those things in there as well. Your fuel range is in there. So it's got all the information you need on the digital part, but it doesn't get in the way, it's very unobtrusive. Now I'm not going to touch upon looks, because I've got stick in the past for calling any bike I've ridden ugly. And although it was very tongue-in-cheek, and I don't really believe that the Z900 is an ugly bike, I will refrain from commenting. If you've got any comments on the looks of this bike, of course, you know where to put them, down in the comment section below. The original Z900, I've warmed to it. I like it more now than I did. I'd still change the headlight. But everything else, I like the looks. There's things about the RS I'd change. I don't feel like you need those fake fins on the engine casing. We all know it's liquid cooled. And I don't think putting that on there makes a huge difference. Although I guess it's quite nice that they're machined. It's not like they're painted on, that is the metal. What do you think? You like that? You like that? Yeah, you like that. The rear brake? You like the fact that it's LED but it looks like a bulb? You like the fact that it looks like a Z1? Do you think it looks enough like a Z1? All interesting points. Thank you, Tim. I think I'll write about that in the bottom. Good, make sure you do. So really, as far as the differences then, how do they feel? Well, it's notable that the Z900, the original, is lower set, that you are in the bike. It is very angular, it is very aggressive. Your seat heights, your seat angle, everything's pushing you forward to strive to be as fast as you possibly can. That's noticeable, and it also could goad you into taking a lot of chances. If that's the style of rider that you would like to be, if you'd like to be on that edge, then the Z900 is probably the bike for you. Whereas, if you like a bike that will perform, but you like it to be a little bit more subtle about the way that it delivers that to you, maybe go for the RS. All I'm going to say is that in this case, it is fair to judge a book by its cover, because their looks really do tell you a lot about the bike. So obviously there is a price difference between the two of them, and that is noticeable when you get out your checkbook. Do people pay with checks anymore? No. When you get out your card, or you start your finance. The Z900, the original, is roughly around £8,250, around that mark. And the RS is £9,900, roughly, losing a pound. Does it warrant the extra price? Is it worth that much more? It's a difficult one to answer, but you do get more with the RS. It's not just that they've reskinned the bike, they have upgraded its parts. As I say, they've improved the brakes, they've changed the chassis, they've given it switchable traction control. They've improved that display because that was a big mark against the original for me. And they've tweaked the engine, refined it in a certain way, ever so slightly. So yeah, I'd probably say that it was worth its value. Now would I spend the extra? Arguably not, from a bike that performs roughly the same as the other version of it. I'd probably save my money and go for the Z900. But realistically, I can put it to you like this. Whichever one you are leaning towards, for whichever reason, if you go with your gut, you will not be disappointed.
Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. This is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
If you haven't seen the original review of the Z900RS just by itself, feel free to click on that link. Likewise, if you want to leave a comment in the comment section below, you know where it is. It's below. Or, if you want to be really kind and do your good deed for today, there is a little red button down there which looks decidedly lonely. Go and click on it and then click the bell next to it and I will tell you when I've got a new video out. Lots more reviews coming this summer. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Ta-ra.